What if breaking the law made you richer than CEOs of Apple or Amazon? These drug lords didn't just make millions, they built empires worth billions, controlling nations and bending governments to their will. Today we expose the best of the best drug kingpins who were the richest and most notorious drug kingpins in history. The masterminds who ruled the world from the shadows, and wait till you know who used military planes or vanished during plastic surgery and who built a jail just for himself. 7. Frank Lucas, the king of Harlem's heroin trade. First up, we have a kingpin who changed the drug trade forever. In the late 1960s and 1970s, he was smuggling heroin in a way no one saw coming. His story even inspired a Hollywood blockbuster. Can you guess his name? If you guessed Frank Lucas, then you are absolutely right. Unlike other drug lords, he eliminated the middlemen, smuggling heroin straight from Southeast Asia. His infamous blue magic heroin was purer and cheaper than anything on the streets, making him millions of dollars per day at his peak. His most chilling tactics? Smuggling heroin inside the coffins of fallen American soldiers returning from Vietnam. Yes, really. His empire made him one of the most feared and wealthiest crime figures of his time. But every king's reign comes to an end. In 1975, federal agents raided his mansion, seizing millions in cash and assets. He was sentenced to 70 years in prison, but after testifying against fellow criminals, his sentence was reduced to 15 years. His life story inspired the 2007 film American Gangster, starring Denzel Washington, solidifying his place in pop culture. How did a Harlem drug lord end up in a Hollywood blockbuster? That's the kind of story only crime could write. Lucas passed away in 2019, leaving behind a legacy of crime, fortune, and controversy. 6. Khun Sa, the opium king of the Golden Triangle. Moving to the jungles of Southeast Asia, one man controlled the heroin trade like no other. He built a drug empire so massive that he once offered to sell it to the US government. Feared by many and untouchable for years. Can you guess his name? That man was Khun Sa, also known as the Opium King. From his stronghold in the Golden Triangle, he controlled 60% of the world's heroin supply. He didn't just profit off heroin, he powered the global drug epidemic. Khun Sa built an army, ran a vast drug empire. He even dared to offer his entire operation to the US government for $50 million, like a business merger, but the US refused, and the walls began to close in. By 1996, after decades of dominance, he surrendered to the Burmese government. However, instead of facing trial or execution, he was allowed to retire in luxury. He lived comfortably until his death in 2007, never facing true justice. Today, his name remains synonymous with the dark history of the Golden Triangle and the heroin trade that shaped the world. 5. José Gonzalo Rodríguez Gacha, the cartel's ruthless enforcer. From Asia to South America, one man rose through the ranks of the Medellin cartel with unmatched brutality. He built a drug pipeline that still fuels the trade today and became one of the most feared figures in the cartel's history. Can you figure out who this ruthless kingpin was? He was José Gonzalo Rodríguez Gacha, known as El Mexicano. As one of the most feared figures in Pablo Escobar's Medellin cartel, he played a key role in expanding the cocaine trade by creating the Mexico-Colombia drug pipeline, one that still fuels the narcotics industry today. Unlike Escobar, who craved public recognition, Gacha stayed in the shadows, building an empire with brutal efficiency. At the height of his reign, Gacha amassed an estimated net worth of $5 billion, making him one of the richest drug lords of his time. But power always comes at a price. His ambition led to escalating violence, making him a primary target for law enforcement. As the Colombian government intensified its crackdown on drug lords, Gacha found himself cornered. By the end, Gacha wasn't just a cartel boss. He was a war machine, but war always has casualties. In 1989, military forces launched a high-stakes operation, tracking him down to the small town of Coveñas. A fierce firefight erupted, but in the end, he was killed alongside his son and bodyguards. His death marked a major victory in the war on drugs, but the Medellin cartel continued its operations, proving that eliminating one kingpin wouldn't stop the empire. 4. Dawood Ibrahim, the ghost of Mumbai's underworld. Now, we step into the shadows of Mumbai's crime world, where one man built an empire that still haunts the city. His network spanned continents, and his influence reached the highest levels of power. Can you guess his name? If you thought of Dawood Ibrahim, you're absolutely right. The mastermind behind the Notorious D Company. He rose to power in the 1970s, transforming a small gang into a billion-dollar criminal empire. His influence stretched far beyond drug trafficking, delving into extortion, money laundering, illegal betting, and even terrorism. He was not running the streets. He was playing chess with nations, a kingpin with geopolitical reach. With an estimated net worth of $6.7 billion, he remains one of the wealthiest and most powerful criminals in modern history. His most infamous act? The 1993 Bombay bombings, one of India's deadliest terrorist attacks. The explosions killed over 250 people and solidified Dawood's status as India's most wanted man. Declared a global terrorist by the US and UN, he is believed to be living in Pakistan under state protection, despite repeated international efforts to capture him. Even today, his name remains a symbol of organized crime, his network still operating from the shadows, untouchable by law enforcement. Before we move on with the top 3, make sure to save this video, like and subscribe for more videos like this one. 3. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the master of escapes. When we talk about drug empires, one man's name looms larger than most. He built a multi-billion-dollar cartel, controlled drug routes across continents, and became infamous for his daring escapes. Can you guess who he is? He was Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, a man who built a $12 to $14 billion criminal empire and became one of the most feared drug lords in modern history. As the kingpin of the Sinaloa cartel, he dominated the global drug trade, controlling major trafficking routes across North America, Europe, and Asia. His cartel smuggled tons of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and marijuana into the United States, making him a priority target for law enforcement. However, what truly set El Chapo apart wasn't just his drug empire. It was his legendary prison escape. In 2001, he bribed his way out of a maximum security prison in Mexico, vanishing into the criminal underworld. Then, in 2015, he pulled off an even more daring escape, slipping through a mile-long tunnel dug beneath his prison cell. The tunnel was not just escape routes. It had lights, ventilation, and a motorcycle on rails. His ability to repeatedly evade capture cemented his status as a folk legend among some and a public enemy for others. He outwitted the government for decades. However, it was a Hollywood actor who accidentally helped seal his fate. In 2016, after a secret meeting with Hollywood actor Sean Penn, intelligence agencies tracked his location. Soon after, Mexican authorities launched an operation, finally capturing the elusive drug lord. This time, there was no escape. Extradited to the United States, he faced a high-profile trial that ended in a life sentence. Today, he sits behind bars in ADX Florence, one of the most secure prisons in the world, ensuring that the reign of El Chapo is over, at least for now. 2. Amado Carrillo Fuentes, the Lord of the Skies. At the height of Mexico's drug trade, one man ruled the skies. His wealth was unmatched, and his name struck fear into both rivals and law enforcement. Can you figure out who this kingpin was? If you thought of Amado Carrillo Fuentes, you're right. Known as the Lord of the Skies, he revolutionized drug trafficking with his aerial smuggling operations, making billions, until his reign came to a shocking end. Unlike most traffickers who relied on small planes or trucks, Amado built an aerial empire, using a fleet of Boeing 727 jets to smuggle hundreds of tons of cocaine into the US. This strategy made him one of the wealthiest criminals ever, with an estimated net worth of $25 billion. As the leader of the Juarez cartel, Amado was a feared figure, known for his brutal efficiency and strategic mind. However, in 1997, he made a shocking move. He underwent extensive plastic surgery and liposuction to change his appearance and evade law enforcement. But something went fatally or conveniently wrong. He died on the operating table due to complications, or so the official story goes. The mystery doesn't end there. The surgeons who operated on him were later found tortured and murdered, fueling conspiracy theories that Amato faked his death and vanished. His cartel remained influential, but it was eventually overshadowed by the Sinaloa cartel in later years. One Pablo Escobar, the king of cocaine, he was more than just a drug lord. He was a king who built an empire so powerful that it rivaled governments. His influence spread across continents, his wealth was legendary, and his brutality was unmatched. Can you guess his name? Known as the King of Cocaine, Pablo Escobar built the Medellin cartel into the largest drug empire the world has ever seen. At his peak, he controlled 80% of the global cocaine market and had a staggering net worth of $30 billion. His business was so profitable that he earned $420 million per week, spending $2,500 per month just on rubber bands to hold his cash. He even buried millions, literally. To this day, people in Colombia still dig for Escobar's hidden treasure. Escobar was both a ruthless criminal and a folk hero in Colombia. He built homes, hospitals, and soccer fields for the poor, earning him the nickname Robin Hood of Medellin. But his violence knew no limits. He orchestrated assassinations, bombings, and bribed politicians, making him one of the most feared men in history. At one point, Escobar was so powerful that he negotiated his own imprisonment in a luxury facility, La Catedral, which included a nightclub, jacuzzi, and soccer field. But when authorities tried to move him in 1992, he escaped. His freedom didn't last long. In 1993, Colombian police and US DEA agents finally tracked him down and killed him in a rooftop shootout. His legacy lives on through movies, TV shows like Narcos, and music. But his empire collapsed, proving that even the most powerful drug lords cannot escape justice forever. Some ruled, some fell, but their impact remains. Which kingpin shocked you the most? Comment below, and if you want more stories like this, hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started.